This comes from the Federalist. While the Twitter files offer a glimpse into the government's efforts to censor disfavored viewpoints, what we have seen is nothing compared to what is planned, as the details of hundreds of federal awards now lay bare. Research by the Federalist reveals that our tax dollars are funding the development of artificial intelligence and machine learning technology that will allow the government to easily discover problematic speech and track America's reading and partaking in conversations. In partnership with big tech, big business, and media outlets, the government will ensure the speech is censored under the guise of combating misinformation and disinformation. Remember when they said they wanted an office of truth or whatever it was, and everybody, oh my gosh, that's horrible. We can't do that. And they dropped it right away. I said, don't put your guard down. They're going to do it a different way. Well, here is the money showing you what they're doing. The federal government now is awarded more than 500 plus contracts or grants related to misinformation or disinformation since 2020. So 500 different companies or groups are working for the government to gather information on you. One predominant area of research pushed by the Department of Defense includes the use of AI and ML technology to monitor or listen to internet conversations. Originally used as a marketing tool for businesses to track discussions about their brands and products and attract competitors, the DoD and other federal agencies are now paying for-profit public relations and communication firms to convert their technology into tools for the government to monitor your speech online. The areas of interest the companies monitor differ somewhat, and each business offers its own unique AI and machine learning proprietary technology. But the underlying approach and goals are identical. The technology under development will mine large portions of the internet and identify conversations deemed by the government indicative of an emerging harmful narrative to allow the government to track these threats and adopt countermeasures before the messages go viral. With AI and machine learning identifying in real time the origins of supposed influence operations and how the messages spread, the government will have the ability to preempt the amplification of speech, squelching even true reporting before the general populace has an opportunity to learn the news. To appreciate fully the danger this poses to free speech requires Americans to consider the use of that technology with some additional details. First, the AI and ML technology under development will mine every conceivable mode of conversation for the government. Consider, for example, the databases monitored by just a few of the companies the government is paying to develop this AI and ML technology. 1. Peak Metrics. The receipt of $1.5 million tracks millions of news sites, blogs, global social platforms, podcasts, TV, radio, and all email newsletters. Omelas, Inc. just received more than $1 million in taxpayer money. It will cull data from the most influential newspapers, TV channels, government offices, militant groups, and across more than a dozen social networks and messaging apps, thousands of websites, and thousands of RSS feeds. The Althea Group, which received a Phase 1 award of $50,000 to develop a machine learning tool for proactive disinformation, misinformation detection, assessment, and mitigation. It boasts it covers data sources including mainstream and fringe social media platforms. Stu, I think they're talking about us. Peer-to-peer messaging platforms, peer-to-peer messaging platforms, blogs and forums, state-affiliated media sites, gray propaganda sites, and the dark web. NewsGuard, which was just recently discredited, $750,000 by the DOD. They're offering 2 databases, including the unreliable Reliability Rankings database. Primer, which scored $3 million award to develop its technology, offers a database that looks to news and media data sources, publicly captured images, the dark web, cyber attacks shared by the general public, and classified, presumably for the government clients, and unclassified data sources. Primer also partners with Flashpoint, which adds Telegram, Reddit, Discord, and the deep dark web to the database's mind. Okay. So they plan on listening, reading, culling, and sorting through AI all of our communication and all of our thoughts. This is not just for foreign influence. This is for America as well. They will be able to, quote, flag problematic speech on any imaginable subject. Here the past is prologue. Speech need not involve terrorism, act of war, or even our electoral process for our government to consider it within its purview to fact check. It also needs not be false. The Twitter files and recent events provide Americans a glimpse into the breadth of the topics of the government that they may deem harmful narratives worthy of censor, from elections to vaccines to run on grocery stores. Underlying the government's obsession with silencing misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation is the great power competition perspective of foreign relations, under which China and Russia represent a constant threat to America's power, influences, and interests. So when you have a problem, we have to be the great power competition. We have to do what the other people are doing, and we also can't let our own people do anything to hurt our great power. So anybody who talks about bank runs, it's not just the people that might be influencing outside of the country, but if you say, I got my money out of the bank, and you got to think about it, because this is a problem. These things are going to collapse. The government with AI and machine learning will deem that as a threat to the United States of America, and you will be tracked and silenced. This is not up for debate or question. This is not a conspiracy theory. We have the receipts. This is what these companies are being engaged by our government to do. Now, there's another story. The TSA, Transportation Security Administration, the chief, David Petrosky, said, we really want to make the travel process easy and safe and more comfortable, more pleasant. All this taking off of your shoes, and we can do so much better. Have you tried Clear? All we need is a retinal scan of your eye. Don't ever let them take a retinal scan. We just need a retinal scan of your eye. I mean, 2.4 million people are screened every day by the TSA, and we need to make sure the security is there, but also that they don't suffer any friction at all. So we urge now facial recognition. We urge the new technology, and we're building this. And may I quote, biometrics eventually will not be optional. You want to fly, you're going to have to give them your retinal scan. But you won't have to take off your shoes. One last thing on this subject. There's a bill going to the Senate floor now, and this is the way you have to think. You have to understand. There's a bill on the Senate floor now to prevent spying on you and your family by your refrigerator, because smart refrigerators have cameras and also microphones. And we have already seen cases where that information can just be given over to the government, sometimes without even a warrant or asking for it. The world is changing dramatically. I want you to be prepared.